Hi guys, welcome to my channel. We're going to be talking about the Gina and Ben Shapiro interview. And I'm just going to give you guys my take on it because I actually really enjoyed it. First things first, I really loved her vulnerability in the interview. I feel like she did, she really did communicate her feelings and the reality of what it means to be cancelled. I do feel like she had reflections on what she did and saw ways that she could have probably, done things better. But overall, realizing that, the society that we're in today. So, being in Hollywood and trying and also wanting to speak out and be like conservative is just literally a no-no. So you have to kind of like pick, which is so sad, but you basically have to pick. And for me, me personally, I don't really decide on you know which political side I am actually on, because one, I'm from England, so it's different than America, but really and truly England do like to copy everything that Americans kind of do, in a sense, in terms of that the political climate. It kind of does have like a huge like effect on how our politics are, or how we kind of like perceive politics to be. So for me, I just don't think you can really be on like one side and be like for the truth, in the sense, because I just feel like the answer or the right thing is usually somewhere in the middle. I feel like both sides have something to contribute, and both sides also have things that are not so great. But for the Gina situation, I really did like how she came across, in terms of she really was thoughtful about what she did, and you got to really understand her motives behind it. And she doesn't seem like a malicious person at all, even though that's what they would want you to believe. But I really liked when she talked about having this, this natural kind of urge to stand up to bullies. And I can relate a lot, because I just can't stand people like being bullied in any really shape or form. So I really did understand where she was coming from, in the sense of, anytime you see someone being bullied, it's just like a natural urge to want to stick up for them. And she, I think, essentially said that she wasn't really in politics, before, and she's only recently started to get into it. And because she's seeing how people, specifically conservatives, are being treated, is, it's just terrible, really, that we're in the climate, where you literally can just say like one, like half of the country, like one side, literally because of their political beliefs, are like evil, or all these extra stuff, and they literally just be counted out, like views be discarded, and all of this, like it's just really sad. But I won't get into the Disney situation, because if you're watching this video, you probably do already know, like, the Instagram post that was the final straw, and the reason why she got fired. But I wanted to really talk about how I was seeing. I've just been seeing loads of people deliberately misinterpreting like what the post was, and just adding these extra things. Like, when people would explain it to people, it's more like, she was trying to literally compare Jews to Republicans and all of this, and like you're trying to like simplify or like skirt over the issue to make it seem like she's the villain. And I'm just like, that's just being deliberately disingenuous. Like, I would think anyone who, like, if you actually read the post without trying to make it make her be the villain, you would have seen that what she said, like, I don't know how anyone really could disagree with it. That's how, things always start on like the ground level, making people hate one another, so that like people can do atrocious things, because they've already kind of like got everyone around you to think that you're evil. Like, it's just with anything, even with like, what's it, the witch trials or whatnot, people be ratting out their own neighbor. Like, because, you've pitted people against one another. I just feel like, you know, it really does sadden me sometimes to see the state of society. But I'm an optimist, so I feel like there is hope. But I feel like people really need to just come out of these like strong group thinks, you know, group think camps or whatnot. I don't know. It's just bizarre how people can literally just act like this, and it's just shocking how they can feel like they're good when they're acting such a hateful and careless way. Another thing I had a problem with is also people. I feel like people were like, oh well, she knew already how the left were, so she did this to herself. She was just being like a jerk unnecessarily, so she should have just shut up. And obviously in her video, in her interview, you get to hear like the reasons to why she did anything, to why she did everything. And it really did put things into perspective, and just was a reinforcement for people to understand that if you don't understand something, why not ask them? Ask people what they mean instead of, putting what you think they mean on something and then running away with it like, they're just the devil, in human flesh. Like, it's just terrible. And my whole thing is that to the people who say like, well, she should have just shut up, like she did it to herself. Okay, but can you not see the problem of what you're saying? Do you think, you know, we should be living in a world where people should just shut up and just let, you know, these, what it seems to be the more I guess louder voices triumph? Like for me, all you're doing is literally just letting people walk over you. Like in the long term, the consequences will be more severe. So if you just shut up, like you literally will be making it worse for yourself in the long run. Because look at all these people kind of like going against this whole, way in which society we're in now, where people are essentially being like gagged, as in not being allowed to like freely speak their mind on both sides of the political aisle. Because you see it everywhere. Everyone's just like, literally in real life, everyone's just literally like, yeah, this is crazy, but I can't say that. Everyone just wants to be like, oh yeah, I'm a good person. I'm politically correct. But I would dare say the majority of people are literally just thinking like this is all just ridiculous. Like people are really blowing things out of proportion, and really people should just be having conversations. But I don't think it's I. I think I'm torn because I'm like, on one hand, you're gonna have to, people like Gina essentially have to become a martyr, um, or she could just shut up and live a great life. Well, not really live a great life, as in just racking the money. Um, but I do feel like there is so much liberation in speaking up, and now she gets to actually live her life freely rather than being having this, thing over her head. That hopefully, the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, they won't do the same thing that the left are doing, because I would think that someone should be able to express their views in whatever way it falls on the, political spectrum. So I would hope that they wouldn't do the same to her, where she would now be, you know, forced to always think in line with a conservative belief, or then she would be cancelled as well. I just hope that there is space, because it is hard, especially probably for conservatives now, in their voice being kind of like smothered. But and it's so easy, it's so tempting to react in the same way. But if they do, they're not gonna be any better than what the far left are doing. So I do feel like people should try and be as level-headed as possible. And anger is just, it's not a good thing to take over you. So people should try and think reasonably in this, and there should be spaces that are created for people to have a balanced view. Like, that's what I want to see. Like, true platforms that are balanced, and they can speak their mind, and it's just not always one way. So yeah, overall, I think the interview was good. I think it really did help us get in, you know understand the situation more. I'm actually happy that she now has another opportunity to work with the Daily Wire and produce and stuff. Yeah, so all the best of luck to her. And yeah, if you like seeing videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.